Oh, hi, Lucky.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club. Since our normal host can't muster up enough energy to fit this show...
It's fitting considering the last episode of Lucky Star, if you think about it in the Lucky Special.
Anyway, so, story and characters for Lucky Star. Oh my god, there isn't really a story. It's slice of life, school life.
Yeah.
You're literally just following these kids' lives. And it kind of jumps all over. Like, we see Golden Week. I think we see New Year's in the last episode, or Obon. Something?
Yes.
And Comiket. So there are signifiers of what time of year it is, but it kind of just jumps around like...
I mean, there's kind of a running subplot of them growing up, like there is in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like Peanuts has that. Like, it's a growing up story. It's supposed to evoke that feeling of childhood.
Yeah, they're also all dumbasses, and I love it.
And it's hilarious, too, considering they're all supposed to be in high school.
Oh my god, they're so stupid. I love it. I've never felt more akin with someone than watching What's-Her-Face just go, I thought flus were just bad colds.
Konata, that was Konata.
Oh my god,
Konata, or was
Konata.
it the other little girl?
It was either Konata. It was Konata.
I think they agreed on it.
It was Konata and Tsukasa.
Yeah, I think they agreed on it.
Oh god, the entire episode was like, I got the new virus. I'm like, no, stop, get away from each other, social distance.
Yeah, it was a little on the nose for 2021.
Obviously, it wasn't intended that way. But in 2021, I'm like saying, like, no.
14 years later, people, is a flu just a bad cold? Ugh. We're not going to get into that, but, make your own opinions. I love how a majority of the show and how it goes it's not necessarily thematic, but a lot of this show is just like genuine questions, like Konata or one of the other characters just being like, "What about this thing?" or "Oh, I didn't do this," and then like the aftermath or the answer. Like I really empathized.
Words are hard.
Yeah, because I keep trying to say emphasized.
Yeah.
But it's empathized with the Golden Week episode. That was my absolute favorite.
Yes.
Just we're gonna work on it. We got 20 sheets of geography, 20 sheets of math, 20 sheets of English, and 20 sheets of science. And then Konata not doing any of it.
Anything. At the last minute, just realizing, oh wait, I haven't done any of my work.
And then the teacher, when they get back to class, how did you guys all enjoy your Golden Week? I just relaxed all week. Konata raises her hand. I did too, Sensei.
And then Sensei's like, hey, you're not supposed to relax.
Yeah.
I love that the teacher and Konata have like this sort of bond.
Yes, like they actually even play the same like MMO or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So like the teacher will find out Konata's running late. She's like, she was playing all night last night.
Yeah.
That's just what the teacher was too.
Or one of them calls in sick and the teacher's just like, get your ass to school.
What was Konata?
Yeah. I love it.
Because the teacher and I love that they build that Konata and the teacher are actually very similar to when they were both that age.
Yeah. It's cute, and I like I said, I do genuinely empathize with like some of the questions, because like, I mean, I've never really considered how I eat pastries, but it's kind of an interesting discussion, for at least the 5 minutes that you're having it. I mean, it's funny, it's interesting. I was watching the first episode, and I was like, is this the first episode? Am I right? Is this right?
What was more sobering for me? Man, this is what social interaction looked like before technology.
Oh my god, right? Like people were actually sitting together and talking without their phones being out at the table.
Did you see those dinosaurs of cell phones they had?
Yes.
Yeah, because I genuinely, sometimes like the four of us can like sit in the same room and Knick-Knack's on his Switch, Realm's on his phone, Vorn's on his phone, I'm on my computer or the PS5 or my own phone, and we like won't be talking to one another. And it like, even in high school, like sometimes we just sat on our phones in between classes,
Yeah.
Because you could have your phone out in between classes.
Yeah.
And just seeing like kids who don't do that necessarily is so weird.
It's sobering in a way.
Yeah. Especially because so many scenes of this show take place in a very familiar atmosphere. Like, I look at them sitting in the classroom and I'm just like, oh yeah, that's our government class, Like, senior year of high school, government class,
Yeah.
Or whatever class that we were in, that the majority of us were in. Or
yeah.
more than one of us.
Exactly.
I was the weird one.
Nah, we both were. They shared classes.
Yeah.
Until senior year, then we shared nothing.
Yeah, but like you and I had the one class together.
Yeah, Gluckman.
Yeah.
And Latin.
Yeah, we had only a few classes together, but like, you know.
Yeah.
We always met up in between classes and at lunch, but it feels very... Oh my god, when the little sister came to sit down at the lunch table, and Konata was just like, don't you have any friends in your own age group?
What's funny is the little sister's the exact same age as them. They're twins.
Exactly!
Yeah.
And it was like, why are you doing this? Like...
Was it Konata or was it her older sister?
It was Konata who said it.
I'm pretty sure it was.
I feel like that had to be... That was weird, because they then established that they're the exact same age later on.
Yeah, but I think Konata said it.
Yeah.
She said, why are you sitting over here? I think she said, why don't you have any of your own friends from your own group? Yeah.
Because she's not in the same class.
Yeah, she's in a different classroom. Yeah. Yeah. And unlike in American schools, in Japanese schools, the teacher moves, not the students.
Yeah.
So you do make friends with the people who are sitting in the same room as you because you stay with them all day. See, you know, us going to high school in the U.S., we move from classroom to classroom, and we have different students sometimes in each class.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, too, because you'd think actually having the teachers move different classrooms would be more efficient, because that's less bodies moving around always.
Yeah, but then that depends on how much... see, in anime, you often see, like, teachers teaching primarily off a blackboard without many printed materials.
Mm-hmm.
But in U.S. classrooms, there's so many printed materials and books and that kind of thing that the teacher having to bring that all around would be really hard.
It also provides a
Yeah,
little
that's
bit of a little bit less class freedom. Like, you can't have that system and then have 3 different language classes offered at your school.
Yeah,
That's
so
true.
like we got lucky. I mean, I think Knick Knack and Realm took Japanese in high school,
yes.
and Vorn and I took Latin, and then I took French in my senior year.
I
But
ended up in a bit of German.
Oh yeah, and we also had German and Spanish offered at our school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get that kind of thing there, but if you had the teachers moving around, every student in that class is the exact same subjects taught.
You also couldn't have like different math levels, because like
Yeah.
Lord knows Vorn and I were not on the same math level.
So you have to have very, very standardized curriculum to do that. Kind
Yeah.
of thing.
And we just don't have that in the U.S. right now.
Yeah, not right
Yeah.
now.
Because we have advanced programs and AP placement and
Also,
Sedai
all this
classes.
other
Although you can have cohort programs.
You can,
This
yeah.
might change a little bit, like if you go to like maybe private schools,
Well,
but that really varies.
no, it's
Yeah.
because of what did they change after we left? Like the math classes, what were they called?
Common Core.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but that didn't affect like,
That's different,
science and
though.
stuff. That's different. That's
Yeah,
standardized
but it's
math. but-
slowly getting to there though.
Well, not really, because you can start Common Core earlier or later.
Oh really?
Yeah, you can be a senior in Common Core 1 or a junior
That
in
just
Common
means
Core
that
1.
the material being taught's kept the same between schools.
Yeah, not that the
Oh, okay.
ages of students
Wait.
are exactly the same.
And what about in like middle school? Are they doing that, or is it?
Some students can start it in middle school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why they get off year, and you can test up. in math.
Oh.
No, the substitute,
So.
like, we in America have a lot of electives. They don't necessarily have that in Japan. They have clubs and a lot more after-school programs for that kind
Yeah,
of
the
stuff.
closest we
Yeah.
have to like a standardized curriculum for like a single class is English, or no, it's history. Because in
History,
English you have like AP and literature
Yeah.
versus writing, but in history you generally have a pretty standardized set of classes you take, unless you're in... We had special programs at our school where some kids took different histories, but other than that, they were standard.
Amazing. Let's turn into another Lucky Star style discussion.
Oh my fucking god, it did.
God
See,
damn it.
this is what Lucky Star does. Like, this is the content of Lucky Star.
Yeah, it's tangents.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just tangential discussions. Like, it'll just be characters sitting at desks in a classroom or at the lunch table talking.
In
Like,
some ways, it's kind of a cultural education show.
yeah,
That's why I think it works really well if you're in Japan, because a lot of that stuff you see around you, and if you're younger and you're trying to figure it out, it helps you come to understand it better, because hint, hint, Konata acts a lot older than she is.
Yeah, and I think it's also it's a little harder to understand some parts of this show if you're not basically familiar with the Japanese school system. And luckily, I mean, the four of us are. I mean, we've watched a lot of anime, read a lot of manga, and I mean, I've looked up like actual what Japanese schools are like, and so we've seen examples. So we have more than a
surface level knowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a little easier for us to understand some of the differences that you see, especially for a Western audience watching it.
I mean,
But-
honestly,
but
even
if-
as 12-year-old me watching this show, I could still kind of get some of the references.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
still things that are universal. that you
Yeah,
will
Yeah.
get.
but as a 12-year-old, you might not have understood why the teacher moved rooms.
I didn't even know that the teacher moved rooms
Yeah.
because that wasn't clarified in the show. Cause
Or-
yeah.
The idea of having a homeroom teacher is dying out in the U.S. Like less and
Yeah.
less, unless you're in a specific program that you take with other students, like a law academy or a military academy or something like
Police
that.
Academy.
Yeah, the idea of homeroom is kind of dying out. I mean, I never had a homeroom except when I was in a program.
Everyone has a listed homeroom teacher, but the problem with the homeroom teacher is that a homeroom teacher works better if you're taking attendance at the beginning of the day and never again, because that's the teacher responsible for ensuring you're there.
Well, but in high school we didn't have labeled homerooms.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
that's what I mean. Like homerooms used to be common in the U.S. Like you used to have your first class of the day was your homeroom, and it could be any class, but that was your class that you would take attendance. But less and less in the U.S. is that the case.
Because then you have issues of truancy after it. People
Yeah.
just ditching schools.
Yeah, so less and less we have homerooms in the U.S. So it's not very common anymore.
Homerooms might be more common in boarding school type things.
Yeah. And the closest thing that you have to a homeroom now in typical public school in the U.S. is if you're in an academy, like LPPA or something like that, where you have a group of classmates that you share your core classes with, and you have certain teachers that are in charge of your program because it's special.
It was rare that you would see that hit first.
Yeah, it's not usually first period. It'll be
So
like
it's not
somewhere
really
in the middle of the day.
It's just you have that common cohort, so you
Yeah.
do get. It's a little bit closer to where you will get to know your fellow classmates a little bit closer, and you get
And you have
more of a class
specific
dynamic thing
teachers.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like my mom teaches English, and she has she's got a set of students right now that she teaches one of the academies. She's had them, I think, freshman year through junior year, or like sophomore through senior. So she's had them 3 years in a row, the same kids, and she knows them very well. You know, because English is one of the 2 core classes that cohorts meet in. You know, because I know Knick Knack was in LPPA?
A law academy.
Law Academy. And you had the common classes of what, like English and history?
English, history, law, and some science. Like science is pretty.
But you had like separate
organized.
languages
Yeah.
and maths.
Yeah.
Because those are more personalized in the US. Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting. And then, honestly, I her working was hilarious.
Yeah.
Her job.
They actually didn't do much with. Like, they didn't
No.
show her there much, which is fine by me.
Yeah.
I'm sure they show her there more eventually. Or
Yeah,
either in the
they
manga
do.
or
I know
in
it's
the show.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly which episode, but I know in one of the later episodes they do show
Yeah.
Konata at the.
I like
at
how
the
she's working
cosplay cafe.
she's working to fund her manga habit. Oh boy, do I feel that.
Hey, if it motivates her to do stuff.
Yeah.
One character I feel like was a little bit woefully underused was you know that one girl in their group that's like afraid of the dentist and is probably the smartest among them.
Miyuki.
Yeah, the pink-haired girl.
They
I
don't
love
do
her.
anything with her though.
They take questions to her a lot of the time, and she's like the final kind of speaker.
But a lot of the episodes just focus on Konata and the 2 sisters.
Yeah, because in the first episode, she comes in at the end of the discussion about pastry and offers a
Yeah.
different perspective. And in the colds and viruses, she like explains it out. And then in the dentist thing, she's like, "Oh, I'm scared of the dentist, so I have this horrible cavity." And Konata's just like, "Why the fuck would you let it grow?"
But it ends up feeling like she's kind of out of their normal dynamic. Like the normal dynamic feels between Konata and the 2 sisters.
I think
and
that
she's
could also
kind of
just.
there.
I think that it could also just be sort of like because Miyuki is always like taught to be like the rich girl of the group as well.
Yeah.
Like her
Yeah.
family.
She's also always studying and doing
But
other
she's also
stuff.
always
Consequently,
busy.
despite being a main member of the cast, she doesn't
She's-
feel like it.
Yeah.
But it's kind of realistic in that she is busy. The thing is, she has more responsibilities and she spends more time
Hold
on
on, can we
school
pause
stuff
the
than the other
recording? I'm
kids.
getting a call.
While you're getting the call.
But she overall just seems like, well, she is depicted as basically the most responsible of the group, and I think what that manifests in the anime and manga is her not being around to like fool around and just like live life like the other kids are, and that sucks because we don't get to see her as much.
I think the issue is it's such a big focus of the show. Like if this were a more drama-oriented show, it might do something to have her in that kind of role. But in this show where it's kind of about that growing up, fooling around, being young and fooling around kind of thing, it means she's missing for the vast majority of the skits. And she doesn't. And then she's not the only smart character of the group. She's not the only moe innocent character of the group.
But she's not altogether not there. Like we do see her every episode.
You see her here and there, but
She doesn't have. She has a very different dynamic within the
Yeah.
group, and it doesn't really work.
But it's not as if she's only in every episode for like 60 seconds. I mean, in the first episode, she is very involved because
like
she
that's-
starts the discussion about pastry.
Yeah,
I think you're underestimating how much she's in there because she doesn't speak as much as the other characters, but she's usually there in the background and involved in a discussion.
In the school settings, yes,
Yeah.
but it's in those like personal like settings where they're like out, like Konata and the other two sisters are out like on the town or whatever.
Yeah, but she's there during the Golden Week episode.
She's usually there like during
Yeah.
the Golden Week stuff, but like it just depends on the scene dynamic.
Yeah.
And they all have a different kind of like friend group kind of chemistry.
Yeah.
It just
like, between each
to
other,
me it
but-
pushes her to the side. It makes her come off more as a side character and a main character, like they build her up. Though.
I didn't have that issue.
Like it's fine. Like I don't,
But maybe that's
yeah.
because I don't consider Realm or Vorn a side character in my life, even though arguably you and I are the ones who hang out the most.
Okay, I'm not talking about life here. I'm talking about like dynamic in the show and use of the character. I feel like she was an underused character.
Yeah, but by that role, but by that like standard to real life, Vorn is our Miyuki. Sorry, Vorn. I'm sorry, but you are.
I know that this dynamic does exist.
All right, let's put it. Let's
But
put
it
it
just
in.
doesn't
Who's
feel
in
like
which
that kind
character?
of show.
Who's which character?
It's not that kind of show where that kind of thing works, in my opinion.
I don't know. I didn't have as much of an issue with it as you did, obviously.
I didn't have a major issue with it myself, but I can see where Knickknack's coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, I didn't find it all that odd. It didn't stand out to me particularly.
Yeah.
But you know, that was just me. Speaking of characters, I mean, we've got Konata, Miyuki, the twins.
Yeah. Teacher.
Teacher.
Yeah.
Konata's
Yeah,
Yeah.
Konata's aunt
Yeah.
And
and her dad.
Yeah.
a little bit later, like the niece. Is
Uh,
that correct? Or what?
We haven't seen her yet. They've mentioned
yeah.
her.
Yeah.
I think they showed her silhouette at one point.
yeah, they mentioned
Yeah.
they mentioned
yeah,
her
she doesn't
briefly,
show
but
up
she doesn't
until,
actually
like,
make an
14.
appearance, at least
Whoops.
not yet, as far as I understand.
And then, of course, we've got the two post-show people.
Yes. And actually, the post-show guy, I can't remember his name, but he does actually make appearance in a couple of the episodes as a background character.
Yeah.
And then Akira, that's the actual main co-host name.
Yeah. So it's got a pretty fun cast. The twins are funny. I like the twins.
Yeah, the twins are
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
Waifu
I love the argument. I love the discussion they have about whether the twins count as fraternal or identical based on new classification standards of fraternal or identical twins in Japan, which is a very topical thing because it must have been happening at the time when it was either being written or done in the show for them to bring it up like that, which then makes it one of those things that is harder to see the topicality of it once the show is older.
Yeah.
But you can presume that either while that part was being written or while it was being animated, that was.
It was
Something happening.
It was a topical point within Japan
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah. Which I think shows you how topical the show is in a lot of ways, you know? So,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Mhm.
Vorn's right, though. Waifu wars, my
Yeah.
boys. Waifu wars.
Waifu wars.
Waifu wars. Waifu wars. Waifu wars. Knick-knack.
Akira. Akira is my spirit animal as far as the temperament goes.
A realm.
I have two waifus for this one, actually. So, because the funny thing with Lucky Star for me is, like, because there's that weird disconnect between, like, the actual, like, show and then the Lucky special at the end of each episode, it almost feels like the show itself is its own, like, episodic drama in a way. And,
Oh, the Lucky... Yeah.
Yeah. So in a way, if we're talking about the Lucky Star anime itself, then my waifu would be Konata, and then Lucky Special Akira.
Woo!
So I have two waifus.
Vorn.
Show.
Yeah, the end kind of actually felt like... First time I watched it, like, wait, what's this? Is this like a joke or something? And, like, I didn't understand. Then, like, I watched, like, the couple next ones, like, oh, this is just a common occurrence. But for mine, it would either be Miyuki or Tuska. Or Tuska. Or, I can't say her
The
name.
other Moe sister?
Older sister.
Oh, the older sister. Okay, so
Yeah.
the tsundere of the group.
Yes.
For me, it's the twins as a combined entity because I feel like the twins embody the two sides of my personality. Like the lazy idiot and the semi-motivated, maybe smart person. But really, it could go either way. So, I mean, the twins for me really set the show off. Especially, I think it was the Golden Week that got me. Because between the two twins and one of them actually does the work and one doesn't, and the one who doesn't do the work, she's like, but I will do it myself. I'm not going to copy off my sister. But then her work is like so actually shitty that she might as well have just copied off her sister. And if that ain't me, like I'll be like great for like 3 weeks doing like all my notes and shit, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I need to copy like 2 months worth of notes from someone.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of the show was pretty consistently the Lucky special at the end, though. I just love that, like, that ongoing sort of mini narrative that happens.
Yeah.
I think my favorite parts of the show were the tangentials, you know? Like the pastry discussion,
I actually
the virus
found those
discussion.
horrendously boring.
I did not have that issue. I thought they were very amusing.
I thought it just felt so unfocused. Like, it just wasn't funny. That was my problem, is it was not funny.
I didn't find it as something that was particularly funny. I just found it I found it enjoyable to listen to.
I can get that kind of stuff in any slice of life show. Lucky Star, for me, excels when it's not necessarily telling jokes, but poking relatable fun at the characters.
Yeah, like Konata and her usual antics, or like I can never remember the older twin and stuff like that. Like that, like usually it's the show is at its best, honestly, not on those tangentials, but rather on the character dynamics when they were bouncing back and forth off of each other.
Like, I love the relationship between Konata and the older, in air quotes, sister.
Yeah.
The
the more serious sister.
Dark sister.
Or even I like that, like, weird, like, two sides of the same coin with Konata and the younger twin.
Yeah, that too.
Konata is kind of the main character of the show.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Because, like, she's the one that kind of has a relationship with every member of the cast. Whereas, like, Konata's sister means nothing to, say, Miyuki.
Yeah.
Or the teacher out of the entire cast is closest to Konata. So Konata's just kind of, she's supposed to be the character we follow the most, I think.
Yeah.
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 She's that one character in the friend group that is like tangentially friends with everyone, while everyone else is just friends with one another. Like, I was friends with Vorn in high school, and I was friends with you, but I wasn't friends with you and Vorn.
Yeah.
You know?
Like,
and I was friends with Knick-Knack, but not with Realm.
Yeah.
But Realm got tagged along everywhere that Knick-Knack went,
and
practically.
I knew everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it? God. Fuckity fuck.
What? Oh my god. Language!
Shit.
Piss!
Bastard.
Stop
Whore. Bitch.
Okay, so if I'm Miyuki, who the rest of you guys?
Yes, good question. How does that dynamic go?
I represent the twins.
Alright.
I am the duality.
Alright, we've established the duality.
Yeah.
So, and Vorn's Miyuki.
Yeah.
So who are me and Knick-Knack?
Knick-Knack's gotta be Konata.
Maybe.
Alright. So, would I be the teacher then?
Probably.
Yeah.
You share gaming interests with Konata? yeah, you're the teacher.
I'm the teacher.
Yeah, you're the teacher. It's either that or the two of us, we could go either way on being the twins or teacher. You and I.
That was it.
What? Okay.
I love that Konata's, like, the academic and athletic equivalent of crouching moron hidden badass.
Yeah, because she's so good at running. Oh
and
my
she's
god.
actually implied to be ridiculously smart,
Yeah.
but also she just has no sense of
She pulls
responsibility.
She pulls that thing that I do on all my history exams where I'm just like, no need to study.
Yeah, and
I
then
will just get a perfect score without studying at all. Or that one time in math when I like made a deal with my teacher. I was flunking math and I made a deal with my teacher. If I got a perfect score on the final exam, he'd give me an A for the class.
here's
Oh, boy,
another
did
point
I.
to Konata being the main character. She's the only one who we see any parental unit of.
That's
We see the parents of the twins.
yeah, we
Yeah.
do actually.
Yeah,
briefly.
we
And
see
the
the mom
Miyuki.
and dad of the twins.
I don't remember Miyuki at all.
Yeah,
it was
but
during the dentist scene when they
Oh,
actually
yeah.
asked dentist
with the
to come sit down.
twins, it's in Golden Week. Their
That's
parents
right.
ask if they finished their homework.
I think Konata's parent is just the one that appears the most.
Yeah.
And also, he's got the most commentary on him.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that one example when he went to his daughter's track and field.
Oh
thing.
god, that part.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was an FBI open up moment.
Yes. Yes.
The
it
mother
was.
as well is like, oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that was Konata's mom. In fact, you'd think if you didn't know it that Konata's dad was a sex offender.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wait, oh boy, yeah. Okay, well.
I do. So, my favorite thing, like my favorite moment in the entire show, because I was actually like, is Akira gonna appear in the main show? It's that part. It's like, I'm appearing next episode, and it's just a cardboard cutout of her because she got sick. And it
Yeah.
follows into the very last episode we watch. It's just her like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to.
Yeah. She's just sullen and sad that she had to get so damn sick for the one episode that she was gonna appear in.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, with that being said, I think we'll come back to you in a few more days with more thoughts on this show and possibly some recommendations.
bye, Nee.
See ya.